This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We talked recently on the show about Carolina. Feels like they haven't yet fully found their identity. We're over the halfway point of the season now, and so that's a little bit of a struggle for me. But that's what a college basketball season, I mean, any sports season is continued growth toward the ultimate pinnacle. You want to be playing your very best when it's winning time, right? It's not that you can lose a whole bunch of games early, because the winning the games late don't matter if you don't do anything early. But Carolina has put wins together. They're on a 3-game winning streak now, looking for their longest winning streak of the season, by the way, tomorrow when they host Cal. But I think there are still things to be tried, is what I'm saying. I don't think Carolina's personnel groupings are set. There's still more to be seen. I've even heard Coach Davis recently. What was that on? I think it might have been on last week's ACC coaches call that happens. I can't remember for sure. That's just me trying to remember back. But I remember in one recent conversation where Coach Davis was talking about some lineups and what to do when Seth comes back, and talked just briefly in passing about, yeah, man, we might even see Drake Powell at the 5 some. And my eyes lit up. It was like the Grinch, and his heart grew 3 sizes that day, because I have been clamoring for this. Like, I don't think it's a lineup you utilize for 10 minutes at a time, but it's like, just something that you throw in for 2 to 3 minutes. And that is what we're going to call the death lineup. And that lineup for me is Elliot Cadeau, RJ Davis, Seth Trimble, Ian Jackson, and Drake Powell. And before, everyone pulls out their hair, yes, I understand that this is an undersized lineup. But think about that lineup and all the athleticism, all the speed, all the quickness with which they could play. Because just like, yes, Carolina would have to defend on the other end, and they can with this athleticism and activity, the other team has to guard this. So good luck lumbering 5-man trying to stick with Drake Powell. Good luck, whoever your 4 is, trying to contain Ian Jackson. He's going to blow by you or step out, and you're not going to get a hand up, and he's going to knock down 3 after 3 in your eyeball. I want to see it happen. And Mark Campbell and I were talking about it on the postcast after NC State on Saturday. And one of the things he was saying is employ this lineup strategically, in the same way that you might, do a run and jump at an unconventional moment to surprise your opponent. Same is true here. I think Mark advocated for do it leading to the second free throw attempt. I would say do it like coming out of a timeout, but kind of keep your lineup back near the bench. And only once the opponent has already come out, then do you send this lineup out. And they've all of a sudden got to figure out what the crud to do. And it might even, by the way, force the other coach's hand to substitute as well to match. Because you have to say in these moments, we will not change what we're doing to match you. We're going to force you to match us, and we're rolling with this death lineup. And again, I think it's like a 3-minute spurt, something like that. But you got to try it. So what I wanted to do was go back and see, all right, Coach Davis has kind of mentioned this in passing, so he's at least thinking about it, right? Have there been any moments this season when Carolina has utilized this death lineup? So I went back and looked all 17 games, and the answer is no. There was, in the Elon game to start the season, there was a 6-second spurt from 52 seconds remaining to 46 seconds remaining, where Carolina played a version of this, but not the exact one I'm talking about. It was Elliot, RJ, Seth, Drake, and Cade Tyson. So Cade Tyson rather than the Ian Jackson in the lineup that we're advocating for. Obviously, this lineup would have to have Ian Jackson's potency to do it. And that was the very beginning of the season when Carolina was figuring everything out. So outside of those 6 seconds, Carolina has literally the entirety of the rest of the season had at least one of the Jae'lyns, Van Allen Lubin, Ty Claude, or James Brown in there. And I'm not saying it's a negative thing that those guys are in. I'm just saying that every lineup has had at least one of those guys, and Carolina has never employed this death lineup. Again, Elliot Cadeau, RJ Davis, Seth Trimble, Ian Jackson, Drake Powell. That's what I want to see. Because again, to this point, you've been solid at moments. You've been good at moments. But what if this is the thing that could uniquely set apart North Carolina from every other team in the country? They've got the personnel to do it. It's the best 5 players on the team. Let's try it. It hasn't happened yet, but it could. It could. And again, if you try it and you're just getting killed, pull them out. Try it against Boston College. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be against Duke unless you're like, I'm confident in this and I know it's going to be a game changer. And if that's the case, if Coach Davis has been keeping this ace up his sleeve, like for the regular season finale in Chapel Hill, kudos. But if that ends up spiting Carolina because they could have been really, really, really good or done really, really different things this season with that, that would upset me. But I just want to see it. Carolina hasn't utilized it yet. The death lineup, give it to me. So anyway, finally went back and did the research because I knew I needed to go through all of the game play-by-play data and find it. Thankfully, a lot of the box scores at the end show you every lineup combination that played. And so you can kind of do some one-stop shopping there. But even still, it takes some time to research it. And I needed to find a couple minutes to go, or more than a couple minutes to go do it, and finally did. Because I want to serve you, right? I want to say, I've gone and done the research. I've done the hard work, and here's what I found. Right, so hopefully that's helpful for you. I'd love to. Do you want to see this lineup, or am I the only crazy one out here? Let me know.